Good afternoon. My name is Susan LaPerla, and I'd like to welcome you to today's program and to thank our co-sponsors, the Friends of the Ferguson Library, Boys and Girls Club, and the Ellen Houston Foundation. We were so pleased when Barry invited the library to host the launch of his new book, Reasons Why Youth Don't Give a Damn Anymore. And we're glad that you're here with us today. What we have planned is to show you a video Barry and his friends put together that addresses the themes of the book, its impact on them, and important takeaways for us. The video is about 30 minutes long and ends with Ellen Houston introducing Barry. At its conclusion, Barry will join us for a Q&A about anything you'd like to ask him. As I'm sure you're aware, young people today are more visual and media-driven than ever, and adults are finding it necessary to find new ways to talk to them. Reasons Why Youth Don't Give a Damn Anymore is straight talk from Barry Woods, who's had 17 years of experience in developing youth engagement strategies and relationship building, working with the Stanford Public Schools, Stanford Boys and Girls Club, and the Ellen Houston Foundation. Having experienced himself the trials and tribulations of a troubled and challenged youth, he understands the need for different outlets for the energy young people have and the importance of having positive adult role models in their lives. Denise?
Hi, I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Woods at the AHMI book discussion group at the Boys and Girls Club. Mr. Woods is a native of New Jersey. He made his way to Connecticut by way of athletics. Attending Southern Connecticut State University, he was a member of the 1996-97 Men's Basketball Elite Eight Championship and earned his bachelor's degree. In subsequent years, he attended Walden University to obtain a master's degree in human services. Woods, as the students affectionately call him, is the winner of the 2013 Passion Award and the 2019 Maytag Dependable Leadership Award and the 2020 Community Leadership Award from the Stanford Boys and Girls Club. Mr. Woods currently resides in Connecticut with his wife, Patricia, and his daughter, Alexis.
Okay, Ahmed, let's roll the video.
And this freaking lady go off on kids because they don't freaking get this crap. If you would just get up and teach them instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo. There's kids in here who don't learn like that.
Bye.
They need to learn face to face.
Bye.
You're just getting mad because I'm pointing out the obvious and you're
because
too
you're
late.
wasting my time.
No, I'm not wasting your time. I'm telling you what you need to do.
Get out.
You want kids to come into your class, you want them to get excited
come
for
to
this,
me when
you gotta
you
come in here, you
about
gotta
it.
make them excited. You want a kid to
Yeah.
change and start
Right.
doing better, you gotta touch his freaking heart. Can't expect a kid to change if all you do is just tell him.
Bye.
You gotta take this job serious. This is the future of this nation. And when you come in here, like you did last time, and make a statement about, oh, this is my paycheck,
Please leave.
indeed it is. But this is my country's future and my
I
education.
respect that. Can you go outside, please?
Score
I
biz.
got things
But there's
to
a
do.
limit. When I'm not bitching, but simply making an observation.
Okay, okay.
And now I will leave. You're welcome.
Good, bye.
And if you would like, I'll teach you a little more so you can
No.
actually learn how to teach a
No,
freaking
you're not
class.
welcome back.
Because since I got here, I've done nothing but
No.
read packets. So
No.
don't try and take credibility for teaching me
Come on,
jack.
Just go, bye.
So now, let's think about this situation, okay? How would something like this normally be handled? Okay, the kid would go to the office, the teacher would report the kid being disrespectful and leaving the classroom and coming to the office. Kid probably get a detention, maybe suspended, depending on administration, depending on the number of times it's been down there or whatever. But is that the real issue? That's not the real issue. Was anything heard out his mouth as far as what he said, what was missing in the classroom, as far as how he was not learning, about how he felt like he wasn't being taught, about how the teacher came in and told the class that she still gets a paycheck. Conversations like that don't happen in classrooms? I beg to differ. Again, reasons why youth don't give a damn. Scenario 1, Raheem. Raheem had a super 6th grade year. When he returned to school for his 7th grade year, it's like he did a 360. And educators wrote him off as at risk and negative behavior and treated him like such. And after numerous detentions with no parent follow-up, Raheem was ultimately suspended and put into a negative track due to his aggressive behavior. Introducing Raheem to the school to prison pipeline because the school system never tried to understand the student they were trying to teach.
Weren't seeing the signs. Because when you have a kid who was straight A, almost straight A student, and now is declining, there has to be something else going on. Right. And you got to look deeper into that, something like that. And they weren't doing that. They were just like punishing him.
I feel that this situation was sort of crazy, considering the fact that Raheem was causing all this trouble in school and bullying other students, they said, also like getting kicked out of class, and his mother was only called one time, and they never looked more into his situation when everything first started. They didn't think to call the mother another time or come in for a meeting. They just simply let him do these actions and then just went along with it and then kept letting it happen because they couldn't get in contact with the mother as much as they said.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I feel like they should have made more of an effort to speak to the mother, because obviously if he was doing good in 6th grade and then 7th grade comes in, he's starting to change, there has to be a reason why. And the school didn't want to figure out the reason why. They just gave him a couple of disciplinary actions and they didn't really want to find out the root of the problem.
Well, I'm really big on, like, you don't know what's going on in someone's, like, personal life. So it's kind of just, like, a reminder for everyone that you can't just, you know, assume things about people, because you never know what kind of struggles they're going through until you walk a mile in their shoes. Because they can be coming to school with, like, a real happy face, or, you know, they can just be acting out of nowhere and you won't know why. You're just assuming, oh, it's because, or maybe you've had a bad day today, or maybe he's just going to be like this forever. Well, no, because he has, like, actual problems at home. There's things going on in his life that are serious to him, and that's, like, other things like school that seem a little less serious. Like, school and education is really important, but it's things like not knowing if you're going to eat, or not knowing if your mom is going to be alive when you get home, things like that. That people think that it's like, oh, well, no. And with teachers, too, it's like, you go to school and it's like, oh, why didn't you do your homework? You're not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, I'm scared for my life. I'm trying to figure out how to survive. They're just going to yell at you for not doing your homework. They don't know what's going on at home.
That I was reading that you gave me reminded me of a kid that I dealt with that had gone through the same thing. And it was a young lady who they had suspended her, and she kept coming to school, and they were like, they kept pulling her back, don't come here tomorrow, you're suspended. And the next day she'd come again. So the second day I brought her to her locker to get her stuff, to send her home like they told me to. But I noticed that, and as I'm walking and talking to her, and I think that's the problem. They don't talk to these kids. They try to get an understanding. And I get it, but I walked her to her locker, and I noticed that she had like tons of clothes in her locker. And I said, I just realized that didn't seem right. So I instead of bringing her to administrator, I brought her to social worker and said, she's got everything she owns in her locker, and that didn't seem right to me. So, come to find out that was the year that Haiti had that big hurricane. I mean that earthquake, and her mother had went to Haiti to check on her people and left her with a neighbor. Wasn't even family; it was just a neighbor. And the neighbor got sick and tired of like taking care of her, so she was living in a car.
In a car?
She was living in a car.
Wow.
And so we got her to help and got her into this girl's home. But that's what I mean. If there's little signs that kids give you, and some of them are too ashamed to speak to you, and so that's why you got to really pick up on the signs. And when one kid is acting one way, and then all of a sudden a complete turnaround, there's something else going on.
The problem was not being properly corrected. They didn't really try to make contact with the mom. At 10 attentions, they called her one time for a meeting. she should have been called more than that so the problem can get addressed and shut down, because now he's getting in trouble and he feels like it's okay. And in the real world, you're going to do that and end up in jail.
Yeah, and they weren't taking too much control on what he was doing. They weren't sitting him down or keeping him away from other students, knowing that he was like bullying them or injuring them. And then at the end of the scenario, when he beat up that kid and stole from him, they didn't like really take too much precaution on that until like after it got that serious.
And also, they should have tried to find him some help, because like I said before, something has to be wrong, and they did not try to help him and give him the support he really needed.
I agree too, knowing that he was going to therapy sessions, because they didn't mention that with the mother. I feel like they should have looked more into that, like why is he going to therapy, like is there something going on?
I feel like they don't reach out more. Like even in my own personal experience and people that I know personally, they don't really reach out to you to figure out what's going on. Like most of the students at my school, they're all like their attendance is not good, and they won't reach out and ask like what's going on. They won't really call your parents until you're like overboard, like with their attendances that you or the absences that you have. Like you'll miss like maybe 2 times the amount of school that you're supposed to miss, and they won't say anything until it's like way more than that. They'll wait until you're really struggling to say something, and then it's just yelling too. It's like, oh well, appeal your absences, or you know, come to school. Even if you do start going to school, it's like, what am I going back for if they're not going to count? Like, I'm not getting credit for classes that you want me to go to. It doesn't make any sense.
The point of that scenario is like that, like your home life can affect your school life or just how you act outside of your house.
Yeah. But then you look at the situation like Raheem. You know, you look at the situation like Raheem, and it's all about his education, right? His education. They're pushing him to do his homework and all that stuff like that. What's his main concern? Home.
If you gotta eat. If you gotta have his next meal, you know.
Exactly.
So you learn from.
You got something to say here?
I feel like nobody knows everybody's situation. So nobody has the right to blame someone for doing something else. They don't know the real situation.
That's a good point. So that means maybe people should ask more questions, right?
Yeah,
Nah,
then
not
again, why he wouldn't have said that.
If they see he changed, then they should have asked the questions.
Right. He wouldn't have said
He's not
that.
gonna say nothing the same thing.
He's not gonna want to say nothing like that.
Right, he's not gonna say that. Right, but as the school,
They should see how he changed, because they said he changed from 6th grade to 7th grade, so they should obviously be concerned. And they still pushing him.
Right. I mean, the school could have went to the house, right? They could have did a home visit, something, find out what's going on in the kid's life. Caitlin?
Oh, but like, even though, like, let's say they ask him questions and like he didn't say anything, it's probably because like he doesn't trust whoever asked him, and like they're not building relationships with the kids, and so the kids don't trust them to say something, because like then they think like, oh, they'll get in trouble if they say something, but then like they get in trouble with their parents if they say something.
Exactly.
They don't care enough to ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, like, cause a lot of people don't say stuff to teachers because they feel like they're gonna go back to somebody else and then make it a bigger problem than it is.
Exactly.
Well, it probably is a big problem. They're gonna make it a big problem. They want to keep it.
Adult leaders, coaches, mentors, administrators, authority figures. As adults, we have to role model our expectations. The do as I say, not as I do mentality has no place in today's society. Adults have to remember we are always being watched by a young person in every scenario imaginable. How to be respectful, how to be respectful when being disrespected, how to deal with stress in improper and proper ways. If a young person is not able to justify negative behavior, why is it acceptable for adults to do so? Just a thought.
Following a youth baseball game when an argument between a coach and a parent gets out of control, and you see right here the incidents all caught on video, as many are nowadays, has some parents tonight wanting criminal charges filed. So let's find out what we do know for sure. JD Miles live from Enfield Park in Plano, where this all went down. JD.
Doug, there was a youth championship PSA baseball game behind me here recently, and emotions got more than a little out of control. Those who witnessed it want to see a coach that was involved disciplined, if not charged, for an after-game scuffle. When pitcher Michael Zadarozny struck out the final batter, he threw his baseball glove in the air and celebrated.
Well, it was the championship game.
The 14-year-old's team won Plano's PSA Little League Championship. But when another player's parent shouted from the stands of the winning team,
Hey, second place ain't bad. You want to do something?
Oh my
God. Oh my God. Come here. Come here.
it set off a coach from the losing team on the other side of the field.
But right after our dad said second place ain't bad, the guy charged across the field to the fence and slammed to the fence, screaming at him, swearing at him.
Pam Zadarozny's husband recorded this video of the coach, who later raced around the fence to confront the parent,
Dude, seriously.
which then turned violent. The scene petrified players, who watched the two adults on the ground while others tried to pull them apart.
I was kind of scared because I didn't know what he was going to do because I saw him trapped on the ground.
The Zadarozny's wanted the assistant coach of the other team arrested when Plano police arrived shortly after it happened on June 14th. But police say neither parent involved wanted to file a criminal complaint. So Michael's father posted video of the incident to at least make other parents and teams aware of what happened and hold the coach accountable.
He wanted to expose this gentleman for what he did in front of a bunch of children to another adult.
I think it's very childish for a grown man, and I think he shouldn't have done it. I think he should have just walked away.
We reached out to PSA for comment about whether this coach will be disciplined, but we haven't heard back. We did also reach out to another parent that was involved in that. He said he wanted to file charges, but police looked at the video and considered it mutual contact. We have still not identified or tracked down the coach involved in this. Live in Plano, JD Miles, CBS 11 News.
Talk about what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I came up in a time where my mom would say to me, it's because I said so. It's because I said so. And that really, really had an effect on me. And it bothered me. And I know it does the same thing with kids coming up now. I'm not quite finished with the book yet. It would be great to have a parent forum because parents need to hear what you're saying in regards to their, not only their behavior, but their way they think. Their thinking pattern has to be reprogrammed. Because if it's reprogrammed, then you'll see more successful years.
Scenario 2, Michelle versus Kim. Having a trusted relationship with your child is more important than being the cool parent. As parents, it's our job to protect and provide. Protect our children from making choices that will lessen their opportunities to be successful. Provide guidance to ensure that they have a better chance at a good start at life. When we don't do that, we allow young people to operate with a false sense of reality about life. That compromises their efforts, their goals, their thoughts, their spirit, and their future.
In the scenario, it was talking about how like Michelle's mom was like a social worker and like how she like seeing kids like him like have babies and stuff really young, like didn't finish their education and stuff. And I feel like we need to like get more adults like Michelle's mom because like she was able to help Michelle like lead her to the right path, and as opposed to like Kim, she didn't have like that role model like Michelle did, and so that's why she kind of like fell off the path and like got pregnant, had a baby, and like really didn't get much of an college education. She didn't make a better life for herself like Michelle did. I think that like, cause let's say like if you're a teenage girl and you go talk to your mom about like having sex and like that kind of stuff, then it might be like uncomfortable because like they might make it awkward or you might make it awkward. And so I feel like in the book, Michelle's mom didn't make it awkward. She was like open about it and like she was like, this is what's gonna happen and this is what you should do versus what you shouldn't do. And I feel like with Kim, she didn't have like, her mom might have made it awkward or like she might have felt like uncomfortable going to her. And so I feel like that's why Kim went down that path and Michelle went down the other path. And I feel like it really starts with your parents.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Surprised when it came to Kim having a her second kid because I thought she figured it out after she did so well in school. But it just goes to show that she thought she had it all figured out and she didn't.
I agree with what Jasant said, and I also feel like since she was given so much freedom that she should have used it wisely and not took advantage of how much she had and be smarter with her decisions.
Okay, okay. Now, do you guys feel that this type of scenario can help young people have conversations like this about this topic, relationships and things like that with their parents?
I think yes, because it's talking about how Kim got an STD, and a lot of kids really get those, and they don't get to talk to their parents about it, and they don't have those kind of conversations, so it kind of just gets like put under the rug and forgotten about.
All right.
I also feel like it's good for parents to have conversations like this with their children, because it's a lot of things that people don't talk about that need to be talked about, because certain times it's going to come to a point where it needs to be addressed and discussed, because like we're all growing up, we're all experiencing, so we're all going to try it out sometime soon, so we should all know what's going on.
It's like a really realistic scenario. Like things like this happen. Like one of my best friends, like her mom was really like lenient, and my mom was really strict all the time, and it's kind of like not the exact same situation, but things just like that.
Okay. So, do you feel that scenarios like this are, say, like at some times, like looked about as like taboo when trying to have, if a young person is trying to have a conversation to address a situation like this? So would you say like scenarios like this would help open up that conversation?
It would help open up the conversation, because I feel like, well, my mom's really traditional and things, so she doesn't like to talk about these things. But I feel like bringing it out like this in the book, it makes it easier for us to talk about things like this, because like you're reading it with someone, or a friend, or like your class, an adult, someone like that, and then it's like, it makes it easier for you to have that conversation. Because if you didn't, it's like, how would you ever like fit that into, a normal day? Like, oh, yeah, it's kind of hard to fit it into anything.
Right, exactly.
What happened, especially when you were talking about the situation, the scenario with the mother and daughter at the store. Yeah, we see a lot of that, and a lot of that takes place simply because of the entitlement that especially some of our African American women feel that they have when they're out in society. You treat me a certain way, you respect me a certain way. And so what happens is they throw that off, and then they don't realize that it's affecting their children when they come into the school.
Right.
Because if they can't respect at home, they're not going to respect us.
There it is.
And so that's why we run into some of the things that we run into, and we're able to pull them to the side and say, listen, this behavior isn't correct.
Right.
But the link that's missing is us sharing that with their parents.
Have a situation like Michelle did. You know what I'm saying? Like, normally we desire to have a situation like Kim. Her mom was very loose, right? Everybody wants to be able to chill when they go to the house. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be able to relax with their girl in the room, have their privacy and stuff like that. But look at how it turned out. Look at how it turned out for Kim. You know what I'm saying? At one point, Kim had a 3.8 GPA. Could go to any school that she wanted to. She had the first baby. Then she got caught up in life of being a mother. Then she has the second baby. Now her whole future is different.
Everybody need a little something and they to be independent. No independent person just grew up and was born independent. You worked and you learned teamwork and you learned cooperation and unity and struggle, and then you became independent. And we have to teach that and instill that. And why is it that they want to do that? I mean, if this is truly a melting pot in the country where we care about it, and Lady Liberty got a hand like this, she really loves us, then we really need to be like that.
What I got of it is understanding that the book is current with the times right now. This generation really don't give a damn, but it's for us to want to give a damn to them. These kids now need us more than ever because of social media, things at home. These kids are dealing with more stuff than you or I could ever imagine. So the book highlights certain things that keep at it that people try to ignore, but you really can't ignore the truth, because like you said in the book, things that you try to hide in the dark soon come to light. So understand that, these are things that are making people think about, hey, listen, these are realities, and if you don't take it to attention right now, it can only get worse, and we don't want to get to the point where you say, what should I have done, what could I have done, you have to take, you can take the stance now. If you can reach one kid, you reach 10 kids. That allow you to say, hey, at least I made my difference in the help out. In this book, what I got already allows me to say, hey, listen, let me take a step back and see what I'm doing. Because what I did 5 years ago does not work now. You know, these are different kids. So that's what I got out of it.
Women empowerment. It's very important for our young women to identify with women of power in today's society. They need to understand that being a woman is having self-respect and respect for your future, demanding that everyone you encounter show you the same level of respect that you demand from yourself.
I feel like it's really important, like, to know when to make the right decision and when not to, because, like, if you, like, everything you do now, like, when you're a teenager, like, when you're older, could affect your life for the rest of your life. And so, like, by having, like, role models that you can look up to and stuff is really good, and especially, like, positive role models that really benefit, like, young kids and, like, teenage girls and stuff, because, like, everybody, like, we see on social media and stuff, we want to do what they do. And so if we see them, like, having babies and, like, not finishing college and stuff, then I feel like that's what more girls are going to want to do. And so if we, like, find female leaders that are, like, going to college, getting a college education, and, like, making their family afterwards, then I feel like that's what we should really be aiming towards. And, yeah, I feel like most of it comes from social media.
I feel like it's really critical for all women, all young women and older women, to have a role model. And it's not just because, like, okay, so my thing about this is that people think that, oh, well, you know, young black women should have people to look up to, and, like, not even just because of my race. It's because, you know, women in general are lower than everyone else on, like, the social hierarchy, because people think that we can't do the same things other people can do because we're weak, or they see us as weak-minded, or we're not strong enough to do things. But I feel like, because when I grew up, I came to the Boys and Girls Club, so I had different role models from, like, different organizations that were, you know, helpful. So I feel like I got my success from looking at these female role models and making my goals bigger than what I got. Because people tell you not to, like, reach too high when you're a girl. It's like, oh, well, you know, you're gonna, like, think about being realistic. So they'll tell me that my dreams are too big and I need to start thinking smaller, things I can actually achieve. Well, if I'm gonna achieve being the president, I can still be the president. They tell you things like you can't do certain things, and when you have female role models, it's like they tell you you can accomplish anything, because you really can. It's just people are underestimating you all the time, except for, you know, the female role models who achieve these great things. So it's real critical for the development for young girls, I feel like.
To everything I have read so far. I have raised 2 boys. My husband and I have raised 2 boys. And to this date, my boys are adults now, and to this date I feel I have the solution to their life and their decisions. And my husband always reminds me, you know, you've made your own decisions, you've lived your life your way, now you need to let go. You need to give advice, but you need to let go. But your book, actually, I found it very thought-provoking. I will add it to my library, and I will be referencing it often. I highly recommend it, actually, to parents, to caregivers, to educators, to anyone who interacts with youth. And like I said, it's thought-provoking. It gets you to think the way you approach youth, young people, and even at a very young age. Kids amaze me every day how smart they are, and we always underestimate them. We always think we're smarter, we always think we have the right answers, and we don't. Honestly, we don't. And I learn from kids now, and I have learned actually to listen and to try to understand what they are saying, and to respect their opinion, and not to judge, and let them make their mistakes. You want to give them guidance, you want to give them general advice, but I think the only way they're going to learn is from their mistakes.
Hey everyone, my name is Nick Smriglio. I am a senior at the University of Connecticut, and I just got finished reading the book Reasons Why Youth Don't Give a Damn Anymore. When I graduate, I hope to go back home to Stanford and get really involved with the Boys and Girls Club, and I think this book is a great stepping stone in that direction. I also know a decent amount of people here in the education program, and I think this book can be a great tool for them when it comes to teaching, or really for anyone who's looking for a leadership role in any form of youth development, anything up that alley. I think one of the best parts about the book is that it really does a good job of explaining, you know, the shortcomings of adults and people who are in leadership positions involving youth, and also kind of helps really elaborate on the struggles that youth go through, particularly today in, you know, the very complicated climate of social media and, you know, the current social culture and all that. And I think the book really does a great job of explaining, you know, how to get in front of the very complicated problems that youth can deal with, and how to really guide them where they got to go.
I normally, I don't do a lot of reading, but when I had heard that Barry had put together a book, I had to read it because I knew there'd be a lot of passion in it. And, you know, it's a short read, but if I have a minute, or more than a minute, but it's a book you should definitely read. I met Barry, well, he had coached my younger son Robert in basketball in middle school, and Robert loved him then, loves him now. Barry was kind enough to sit down with my older son not too long ago regarding a little, you know, bump in the road with his music career. And he's a go-to guy, has a lot of passion. And the first time I met him formally, I took a liking to him. And, you know, if we had 1 million more Barrys, the world would be a whole lot better place. But his book, you know, hits on a lot of notes, and important notes, regardless of where you're from, who you are. Growing up, the son of an Italian immigrant who worked 3 jobs, sort of set the tone for me personally. My sisters, you know, wasn't a perfect life, but you know, the important characteristics of a person were taught to me very early on, and I've been able to carry that on and, you know, show my kids as well. But you know, this is a book you should read that's helpful. It'll hit you in one way or another in terms of your own personal approach to things, regardless of what those may be. You know, reasons why kids don't give a damn anymore. We gotta read this and make it better in any way you can, because our kids need guidance. Like I said, no matter where they're from or where they are, what they do, they're fragile people, and they're the future of our country and our world. And you know, the 12 or 13 chapters that he put together here, like I said, will you know, they'll humble you. And you know, Barry, congrats on a great book, and keep your passion up. Love you, man. And I also love the reference to Orange Juice Jones in one of the chapters that were one of the many that were good to read. Good luck with the book. You know you got your support with the Smeriglios.
Hi, my name is Sid Watson, and I'm the assistant principal at Guam Middle School. And today I would like to give a book review on Barry Wood's new book, Reasons Why Youth Don't Give a Damn Anymore. This book is a must-read for anyone working with young adults, because Barry gives first-hand knowledge on how we can prepare, affirm, connect, and empower our youth so that they know that we give a damn. The late James Baldwin said, "Not everything that can be faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed unless it is faced." This book is Barry's way of helping us face and address the many challenges our youth encounter in hopes of providing them with a better future.
The world is coming to an end.
The air is polluted, the ocean's contaminated. The animals are going extinct, the economy's collapsed. Education is shot, police are corrupt. Intelligence is shunned and ignorance rewarded. The people are depressed and angry. We can't live with each other and we can't live with ourselves, so everyone's medicated. We pass each other on the streets, and if we do speak, it's meaningless robotic communication. More people want 15 seconds of fame than a lifetime of meaning and purpose, because what's popular is more important than what's right. Ratings are more important than the truth. Our government builds twice as many prisons than schools. It's easier to find a Big Mac than an apple, and when you find the apple, it's been genetically processed and modified. Presidents lie, politicians trick us, race is still an issue, and so is religion. Your God doesn't exist, my God does, and He is all-loving. If you disagree with me, I'll kill you, or even worse, argue you to death. 92% of songs on the radio are about sex. Kids don't play tag, they play twerk videos. The average person watches 5 hours of television a day, and it's more violence on the screen than ever before. Technology has given us everything we could ever want, and at the same time stolen everything we really need. Pride is at an all-time high, humility an all-time low. Everybody knows everything, everybody's going somewhere, ignoring someone, blaming somebody. Not many human beings left anymore, a lot of human doings, plenty of human lingerings in the past, not many human beings. Money is still the root of all evil, yet we tell our kids, don't get that degree, the jobs don't pay enough. Good deeds are only done when there's a profit margin. Videos of the misfortunes of others go viral. We laugh and share them with our friends to laugh with us. Our role models today, 60 years ago, would have been examples of what not to be. There are states where people can legally be discriminated against because they were born a certain way. Companies invest millions of dollars hiring specialists to make little girls feel like they need makeup to be beautiful, permanently lowering their self-esteem because they will never be pretty enough to meet those impossible standards. Corporations tell us, buy, get this, get that. You must keep up, you must fit in. This will make you happy, but it never does for long. So what can we do in the face of all this madness and chaos? What is the solution? We can love. Not the love you hear in your favorite song on the radio. I mean real love, true love, boundless love. You can love each other from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed. Perform an act of kindness because that is contagious. We can be mindful during every interaction, planting seeds of goodness, showing a little more compassion than usual. We can forgive because 300 years from now, will that grudge you hold against your friend, your mother, your father have been worth it? Instead of trying to change others, we can change ourselves, we can change our hearts. We've been sold lies, brainwashed by our leaders and those we trust, and not recognize our brothers and sisters, and to exhibit anger, hatred, and cruelty. But once we truly love, we will meet anger with sympathy, hatred with compassion, cruelty with kindness. Love is the most powerful weapon on the face of the earth. Robert Kennedy once said that few will have the greatness to be in history, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all those acts will be written the history of a generation. So yes, the world is coming to an end, and the path towards a new beginning starts within you.
Hey everyone, this is Allen Houston. Reasons Why Youth Don't Give a Damn Anymore is the hard conversation starter for each domain of a young person: school, community, and home. It addresses the elephant in the room around true leadership, parenting, education, and youth development. Understanding the 7 lines of kinship: love, respect, communication, leadership, control, church ties, and neighborhood reflection, and how those lines form the foundation for every young person and how those lines are different for every young person. School climate, school connectedness, social and emotional learning, and restorative practices. Reasons Why Youth Don't Give a Damn Anymore gives you a poignant visual of how all these dimensions of youth development are tied together. This book allows you to work through these dimensions piece by piece. In partnership with the Ferguson Library, Stanford Boys and Girls Club, and the Allen Houston Legacy Foundation, it is my honor to introduce my brother, the author of Reasons Why Youth Don't Give a Damn Anymore, Barry Woods.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. First, I'd like to start off by just taking a moment of silence to give thanks. Okay. Thank you, Allen Houston. Thank you, the Allen Houston Legacy Foundation. Thank you, Boys and Girls Club. And thank you very much to the Ferguson Library. Thank you all for being here. Reasons why youth don't give a damn anymore. It's a call to action. It's an adult call to action. You know, we have to understand the steps that we have to take to really impact and improve the lives of our young people. We have to engage, not invade. When I say engage, listen to that word. That means that you have to develop an understanding, which means that you're going to have to close your mouth sometimes as an adult. Yes, you're going to have to close your mouth and really listen to our young people. Even something that might not make sense to you, you have to understand is the reality to that young person. It's not your job to change that reality. It's your job to support them, to guide them the proper way with that reality, you know? So it's a whole lot of things you got to understand about yourself. We have to adjust. We have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable so we can do different, so we can do better. If that's our mission, we have to stay involved. If that's our mission, we have to be accountable. If that's our mission. As parents, you know, we have to step up to the plate. And you really have to start being parents now. You really have to start being parents. You can't placate certain situations trying to be the cool parent, or because you haven't been accountable, now you're running around jumping in and out of hero complex situations because you want to look like you're saving the day to your kid. It's not about that. It's about you looking like the real parent to your kid. If you're struggling, okay, fine, but struggle appropriately. Show your child how to build themselves out of that struggle so later on they can recognize that struggle and say, you know what? I remember my mom and my dad was going through that same thing. And they can dodge it, or they can build themselves up out of that, or they can construct something else to keep themselves away from that. These are the things that we have to do as adults. As authority figures, we have to understand our impact. Listen to the words I'm saying, please. You have to understand your impact on young people's lives due to the decisions that we make. The impact. Something that could bruise our ego for 15 minutes can cost a young person the rest of their life. And that's not fair. It's not fair. I think Nick Saban said it the best when he had that situation with his player. I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect him to do? The kid is struggling with drugs or a situation, so you want him to kick him out, throw him to the wolves, right? So now he becomes a product of what he was struggling with, instead of trying to help him and build him and give him a chance, a real chance to be successful in life. All because of some probably control issue mixed up within that. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. If we're talking about developing young people, we say to ourselves, our mantra as a country, as a nation, is children are our future. Children are our future. But we have an untapped defense fund. And every time we cut, what do we cut? Education. But children are our future. I'm just saying what we're saying. That's all. But it don't make sense. It don't make sense. And lastly, we have to be ready to receive as well. As adults, we can't just front load situations and say, okay, all right, I'm gonna address this and this young person is gonna receive this and everything. No, Understand these young people are dealing with things just like you. Understand these young people are getting frustrated with things just like you. Understand these young people have to deal with emotions, aggravations, frustrations, just like you. So what makes them different? Because they're younger? No, no. So in closing, again, I thank you, all for being here. And I really would like to put the challenge out there, for us to really step up and try to change the direction of our young people. When people ask reasons why youth don't give a damn anymore, it's because us as adults, we don't care enough yet. That's the hard answer. Us as adults, we don't care enough yet. And if you want to test yourself, there's a test right in my book. There's a test right in my book, because parenting is the first level of leadership for all adults. In my book, there's a parent dedication to education quiz. Take time, and on my website, it's on my website as well, barrywoods.org, barrywoods.org. That same quiz is on my website. Test your own resolve. Before you point the finger at a young person, test your own resolve. See how involved you are, or maybe you aren't. But now we have to do something. I thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Please go to the website, barrywoods.org. You can get the book on Amazon. You can get the book at Barnes & Nobles. Feel free to email me any type questions you have. But I thank you very much. Again, thanking Allen Houston Foundation, Boys and Girls Club, and the Ferguson Library. I appreciate you.
Thank you, everyone, for staying with us through the program. Barry, I don't know if you would like to ask if anyone has any questions before we sign off. If so, put them please in the chat, and we can read them off to Barry, and he can answer them for you if there are any questions. Well, Barry, I think you're, here's a question.
Oh.
Is this your first book? If so, what was writing it like?
Yes, this is my first book. And yes, it was a very interesting process. It took me about 10 years to put this whole project together, because I wanted to try a lot of things. So as far as some of the chapter assignments and things like that, I wanted to do those actual things to, get the experience of how that is to actually manage that. So it took a lot of time, and, I spent a lot of time on home visits, spent a lot of time in classrooms, spent a lot of time talking with young kids, because I wanted to get, a real reflection, of how they truly feeling out here. Okay.
So young person asks, how did you come up with, sorry, these are coming in quickly now. How did you come up with the name of the book, and were you nervous about what would adults think about that?
Great question. Great question. I kind of related the name of the book to the attitudes from the young people from what I was seeing, and I when I first came up with it, I discussed the situation with my wife, and she actually drew the cover of the book. But it was kind of like hard to come into calm terms with it. But then after a while, I just started thinking like, man, this stuff got to be said. Like this has to be said. And what other way to make it said than put it in a book?
Thanks, Barry. Mrs. Anderson from our South End branch says congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Miss A.
What do you think is the first step as a struggling parent that I should take to move forward in the right direction?
The first step as a struggling parent is for you to be honest with yourself. Okay. And you know, at times that might not be easy, but that's the first thing that you need to do. And when I say honest, I mean truly honest about everything you struggle with, about things that, you know, make certain things difficult for you, about what you can and can't deal with, about where you need support and all that stuff like that. You got to figure that out for yourself first, because when you start trying to say, show this picture to a young person, they have to understand, okay, well, you know, mommy and daddy is struggling this way, but when they struggle this way, they reach out and they seek support. They don't just sit in their struggle or turn off and just, you know, get wild or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They try to do something about it, you know? So the first step to that is you really, truly being honest about yourself and your struggles and facing those. First off, coming up with a plan for yourself.
Lots of questions about how to be a good parent. For example, do you have any advice on how to engage with a child who is disengaged now? What are some things parents can do to improve their relationship with their children?
Well, a couple things, some things parents can do to improve their relationships with their children. Like I said, you know, be aware of your own issues, but also try to understand your kid. You know, try to meet your kid where they are. You know, watch them, you know, watch what they do. Yeah, and then you have to create an environment where they feel comfortable bringing anything to you that they need to bring to you. You have to remind them that you're their springboard, okay? You're their springboard. When you get frustrated, when you get aggravated, you bring it to them, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about correcting them, you know, and that's a lot of things that parents get caught up with, you know, in the first time. Well, you know, I don't want them to be saying this or saying that. Sometimes it's not about correcting them. Just let them get it off their chest, even if it's about you. But see, that's the piece that you got to really prepare yourself for. You can't sit here and say, I want to help build a stronger relationship with my child. And then as soon as your child says, well, you did this or you did that, you get tight. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to understand that it's coming back to you first. You're the mirror. You're the mirror. They're going to point the finger right back at you. And you got to be ready to absorb that. And it's not going to be easy, but that's how you build.
Couple that are soliciting advice for the kids. I love the message to adults to assist us in better understanding and supporting our youth. I love the toolkit. Do you have a toolkit for youth that can give them the tools to get our attention so we can better recognize when they are struggling?
Yes, that usually comes through, like, within my mentor programs and things like that. But I think it's on one of the pages in the book where the toolkits talk about to the young adults, to the young people, so they can understand that they need to understand that they're out here kind of like on a whim by themselves, you know, and they have to also understand that piece so they can speak out, you know. And they have to understand that they can't be afraid to cause that ripple. And I know that, and I know that's hard for a young person at times, but they have to understand that they can't be afraid to cause that ripple, because at the end of the day, the focus is on them. Everything that is constructed is around them. The focus is on them. So if they cause that ripple, eventually they're going to get that attention that they need, you know? So, you know, it's they have to build that inner strength. But then again, you see, that's again the importance of having that adult support there, because when they cause that ripple, they have to know that whoever the trusted adults are in their circle are going to be there to support them, not say ridicule or you know, reprimand them for a certain situation.
Can you tell us a little bit about the cover art and what the inspiration for the book cover was.
Yes. Well, the cover art, as you see, I'll hold it up right here. My wife, Patricia, is an artist, and she drew the cover art. But the cover art itself is a conversation, and it just shows the collectiveness of everything. All the pieces that are falling apart that need to support young people, community, relationship, trust that we have in authority. That's why you see the O in the police falling out there. You know, then you have down here adults, fugitives, you know, and you got dice games and stuff all around here. You know, these are things they identify with in life. This is how they see their life. You know, they see the drugs, they see the crime, they see the disruption going on, they see the broken relationships, they see all this stuff that we think they don't see. They see it.
So, what is the most important thing you need from our community to help support your vision?
The most important thing that I need from the community to help support this vision is to really start having these conversations and to truly be an accountable adult. When you see something off, address it. It doesn't matter what level of leadership. It doesn't matter what area or where you're at. It doesn't matter. We have to start role modeling properly to our young people. We have to. There's too many examples of them of out here for them to take that are negative, even within our own political ranks with stuff. From mayors to governors to presidencies to all types of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the examples that we're showing our young people. But then those same mouthpieces that are those examples are telling a young person, do right, be honest, tell the truth. And they're not. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, a couple of words of praise for you. Hello, Barry. I just want to personally thank you for being the big brother mentor to my son. Your continued guidance has and still is keeping him on the right track. Many blessings to you. Great presentation. Can't wait to read the book. Definitely want to be on the front line with you. And great job. Can we look forward to more books? What do you say to that?
Yes, we can. Yes, we definitely can. You know, everything is a process, you know, and you know, the second edition, you know, I think will be something is something that's being chipped away at, you know, just like I chipped away and put this together right here. But we got work to do first with this right here. We got work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if we out here and we get in this book, it's not to be a dust collector. Okay, if we out here and we get in this book, let's earmark some pages. Let's go get the little stickies. All right, let's go get the little stickies. All right, put the little stickies in the book and everything like that. So when you run into something, you go get your reference. All right, let's really start putting this together. All right.
Yep. And someone asked if they'll be able to get the book at the library. Yes, we will have books here for you to check out. If you are interested in purchasing your own copy, you can do that on Amazon, I believe, Barry, and also by going to your website, which you probably should get lots of advice. And I think the link on the website is going to link you over to the Amazon site. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's also on Barnes and Nobles.
Okay.
And also on the website, the t-shirts just came out. So, you know, you can make a statement without even saying anything. Put a t-shirt on and walk around and wait till somebody asks you a question about your t-shirt. Then you go in on them. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody else.
You know, it's a real movement.
Yeah.
It's a real movement. And again, like I stress with all sincerity, you know, and I'm so unapologetic for the tone of the book. But I stress with all sincerity, our young people are very important. Who's going to think about it like this? Think about it like this. who's going to be the next? Anything, anybody. Who's going to be the next you? Who's going to be the next you? How are you preparing the next you? Just that simple. That simple. Would you put the next you in control of your life? That's what we got to ask ourselves. All right.
Mhm. So I do want to let everyone know that this program has been recorded. So if you know people who were planning to be here and couldn't be here, or you want to recommend to other people that they should watch the program, which I certainly am going to do, you will be able to find it on the library's YouTube channel, probably as early as Monday, if not Monday, then Tuesday. And we will share that link with Barry. Barry, you can put that up on your website as well, so people can link to it in that way. I wanted to share this comment with you. This is from the executive director of the Allen Houston Legacy Foundation, Dennis Carter, who says, Barry, your whole Allen Houston Legacy Foundation family is proud of the work you're doing. And I'm sure many, many people that you've had the privilege to work with feel the same way. And thank you so much for coming today. If I don't know if you have some final words for the audience.
Final words. The only final words I have, a couple final words, is barrywoods.org. Definitely visit the website. But in all, I'll say this, also, in all, I say this, in all. We always have to remember, I'm a very God-fearing man. Okay, I'm a very God-fearing man. So, we always have to remember that God never put nothing in front of us that we can't handle. Okay, it might be difficult, it might be uncomfortable, it might be a struggle at times, but if He leaves it in front of us, that means we can handle it. And the main thing that He leaves in front of us are our children. So we can handle this, okay? Now let's step up as adults and really handle this. God bless you. Appreciate y'all.
Yep. Thank you so much, Barry. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Everyone take care. Bye.
Right.